Good afternoon. This is Nate Riesen with Jon Lancaster, Toyota in Madison, showing you a 2011 Toyota Prius. Fuel prices, ugh. Anyway, it's on the rise. And if you're in the market for a new car, you're likely considering a sedan for fuel efficiency. I wanted to show you the Toyota Prius because of its fuel efficiency. It's the most fuel efficient car you can get these days. The ratings are 51 in the city, 48 on the highway. And those are the averages based on a range of 43 to 59 in town and 40 to 56 on the highway. So 51 city, 48 highway. Prices on a Prius start right around $24,000, and that's a well-equipped Prius. Power windows and power door locks, smart keyless entry, cruise control, AM/FM, CD stereo, and a plug-in for your iPod. From that standard Prius, much like this one, you can get anything you want: navigation. You can get a moonroof with solar panels which operate a fan to cool the car. You can get a package that the car actually will park itself. So there's tons of options in the Prius. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about the car, why it's so fuel efficient, and I don't know, give you a general tour. So this is a 2011 Prius. It's about to go home with a customer, and I popped the hood open, so I wanted to show you what's under there. Toyota uses a 1.8 liter Atkins cycle engine, which is a little different than a normal engine in the way that it burns the fuel and air. An Atkins cycle fires the ignition spark when the pistons just pass top dead center. That makes it more efficient, but reduces torque. Torque is what gets you going when you leave a stop sign. There's two electric motors here. One is generally used to drive the car, and one is used to generate electricity. And that's where we're different than say, our closest competitor in hybrids, which is Honda. We have a full hybrid, meaning this car can run electric only, gas only, or a combination of the two, gas-electric, which is most commonly used in this car. The engine's right in front. It's the 1.8 liter four-cylinder. To the right, we've got that silver box, which is the inverter converter, and he changes the charge. Where it's held in the battery at about 201 volts, it's held DC, and that turns it to AC and ramps the charge up to about 650 volts. And that way the electric motors can use it and make some power and get some good mileage. A couple things that are really unique to Prius is this car doesn't have an accessory drive belt on the side, so there's no power steering pump, there's no alternator that's run off a belt there. The power steering is done electrically, the alternator is run off of that animal there, the inverter converter. So you're going to find there's less maintenance on a Prius. As a matter of fact, this car has a 10,000 mile oil change interval via synthetic, which isn't, it's not uncommon these days. But again, there's no serpentine belt to change, and because this car has a geared CVT transmission, there's no transmission fluid to change at a 30 or 60,000 mile interval as you would with a normal automatic transmission. The car uses 15-inch wheels and tires. They're very inexpensive to replace. It's a very common size. As a matter of fact, Camry and Corolla use a similar size of tire. The back of Prius, it's basically it's a liftback or a hatchback. It's a 5-door hatchback. If we cut the back of him out, size-wise, in terms of rear seat legroom, front seat legroom, and headroom, he's very similar to a Camry or any mid-size sedan. I find that this car is more comfortable and seems to have more legroom than a Camry. I pop this door open. I've got one of the seats laid down because the back seat folds down flat. 60-40 split fold rear seat, so you have cargo ability similar to a Toyota RAV4. In the back of him, there's a spoiler, and that's all done for aerodynamics. But that's kind of a glass hole right through the back there, so that's glass. And you're sitting in the car looking through the mirror, you're looking through the back window, the top, and then that bottom screen there. But look at this, when I pop the door open, again, it's lift back. There's a hole in the floor, which is a cargo box, and I've got the cargo cover removed at the customer's request. They wish for it to be stowed, but I could take that cover out and install it across the back and hide cargo. But once I close this up, you can see the cargo floor. That's the cargo mat folded up. And again, that rear seat is 60-40 split fold. If I lay that down, there's quite a bit of space moving forward. So I should say all the way up to the front seat there. And I apologize, I'm not going to be able to do it with just one hand. But the moral of the story is that seat will lay down flat, and I can have both of them down and have tremendous cargo space in the back of this car. Let me give you a look at the legroom in the second row. Then we've got that front passenger seat all the way back. Difficult to show you, but we do a couple neat things. We concave the back of the seat for knees, and we give you space underneath the front seats for your feet. So your knees shouldn't be touching the back of that seat, and your feet certainly won't be cramped against the back of the seat either. Safety-wise, there's a curtain airbag that deploys on the roof line. So that airbag comes from the roof line straight down inside the car. And that will protect you in a side impact collision. In addition, there's a seat-mounted side airbag. So there's an airbag on the side of the two front seats that deploys here, and that protects you in a side impact collision as well. It protects your torso. Very unique layout in the front of the Prius, where Toyota designed this to have what is called essentially the 60-60 interior. And what that means is when you're sitting in the driver or passenger seat, the driver feels like he's got access to 60% of the dashboard, and the passenger does as well. And what it means to you when you sit in the car is it feels very roomy inside. I mean, it does. Headroom is excellent. Basically, the shape of the car with that roof line comes up so high, that leaves a lot of space for your head. The steering wheel has standard controls for the radio. So on the left side, the left circle there, you'll find radio controls for the stereo. On the right side, you'll find climate controls on the bottom. And then on the top there, you'll find a trip and display button, which toggle trip information, miles on trip A and trip B, average miles to the gallon, and there's also a hybrid computer on the top that tells us the output of the hybrid systems. And that's basically everything that's on the dashboard. The fuel gauge, the speed of the car, the instant MPG is displayed, the shift reference, and then there on the right side, which says now hybrid system indicator, we can toggle that to show us consumption based on minutes driving. We can show record MPG that the car achieved, and we can see the traditional energy monitor that folks that have Priuses now will recognize. You're in a Prius 3, and this happens to be a 3 equipped with navigation. So the nav brings a backup camera, and that's basically combined with that nav package. Now we can put a backup camera on as a dealer installed option for $800, and that goes in the rearview mirror. So we're changing that traditional rearview mirror to an auto dimming mirror, and the backup camera is integrated. Some people, if you're a bit shorter, you might appreciate that backup camera, but it's also becoming one of those features that people like to have in their cars these days. Back to the features, again, there's nav, and again, that's optional. It's not standard, but the climate control is. And climate control is essentially climate control like you'd have at home, where you set the temperature, the car will control the vents and the fan speed to get you there. And that's significant because that climate control is run electrically off the hybrid battery, and running in auto mode, the car chooses the modes and keeps it running efficiently. So that's a quick look at the 2011 Toyota Prius. This is a Prius 3 equipped with nav. The exterior color is black, pretty standard, and the interior, this is the lighter of the three colors. This is the misty gray interior, which again is pretty light. They offer this with a dark gray, and they offer it with a sand beige or tan interior. You can get all three of the colors. It can either be leather or it can be cloth. Car's worth a look. If you're in the market, again, this is a mid-size sedan, but it blows the doors off of the MPG of typical mid-size sedans, which offer miles per gallon on a traditional car in the range of 20 to 25 miles per gallon in town. In the ranges on the highway for a mid-size sedan with 4 cylinders, typically anywhere from 32, say, up to 38, where this one, again, is going to be basically 50 all around. It's actually 51 in town, 40 on the highway. Most folks report MPG in the range of 48 to 51 tank average. A lot of folks ask about the warranty on the car. Hybrid battery specifically. Total warranties that battery for 8 years or 100,000 miles, so it's excellent coverage. If you have any questions about the warranties or the batteries, post a question. This is Nate Riesen with Jon Lancaster, Toyota in Madison. My email address is below. My phone number is 608-243-5551. Take care. Thanks for watching.